Alright, let's look at dividing polynomials. The first example we're going to do is we're going to multiply this polynomial here by a monomial, a single term. So what you do is you're going to take the 12 m to the 6th over 6m squared plus 18 m to the 5th over 6m squared plus 30 m to the 4th over 6m squared. So what we did is we broke it up. Okay, we wrote it as separate fractions. So now we can take this and we can cancel. So we've got 1, 2, this cancels into m to the 4th, and that's 1. The 18 and the 6 cancel, 1 and 3. The m squared and m to the 5th cancel, that's m cubed and 1. And the 30 and the 6 cancel, and then the m squared and the m to the 4th cancel. So our final answer would be 2m to the 4th plus 3m cubed plus 5m squared. And that's your answer. Just remember, when you have a single term down here, you want to split them up into separate terms. And as far as the canceling on how we get the m to the 4th, that goes back to the integers. Basically what you're doing is that 6 minus 2, 5 minus 2, 4 minus 2. That's how we get the 2, the 3, and the 4 for those exponents. Alright, let's take a look at another one. We have x cubed plus x squared plus 4x minus 6 over x minus 1. So we're going to rewrite it. We're going to divide these using long division. So we look at the x here. We ask ourselves, what do we multiply to x to get x cubed? Well, that's x squared. Okay, and then we multiply the x squared times the x minus 1. So we have x squared times x is x cubed. X squared times minus 1 is minus x squared, and then we subtract. Now the way that we subtract these polynomials is you want to change the sign of the bottom of each term in the bottom polynomial. So we're going to change the positive x cubed to a negative and the minus to a positive. And then once you change the signs, you add. So x cubed minus x cubed is 0. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared. And then we bring down the next term, plus 4x. Now we want to know, what can we multiply to x? What can we multiply to x to get 2x squared? Well, that's 2x. So then we take the 2x and we multiply it times x minus 1. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times minus 1 is minus 2x, and then we subtract. And remember, the way that we subtract, we change the sign and add. So we change the signs of each one and we add. 2x squared minus 2x squared is 0. 4x plus 2x is 6x, and then we bring down the next term, minus 6. Then we say, what do we multiply to x to get 6x? Well, that's 6. So then we multiply the 6 times x minus 1. So 6 times x is 6x. 6 times minus 1 is minus 6. And then we subtract. And to subtract, we change the sign and add. So we get 6x minus 6x is 0. Minus 6 plus 6 is 0. So this is our answer. X squared plus 2x plus 6. Let's take a look at another one. Here we have r squared minus 5 divided by r plus 4. So we have r plus 4 divided by, now here we have r squared, and notice we're missing an r term. See, in the previous problem we had x cubed, squared, x to the first, and a constant term. Well, when you're dividing, you need to write it in descending powers, and you have to have a 3, 2, 1. Or if this were a 4, you would have to have 4, 3, 2, 1, and then your constant term. Okay, the 4, 3, 2, 1, that's your exponents. And what that does, that helps you keep everything lined up. So let's write this. We have r squared. Now we need to put the r term in there. So we're going to put plus 0 r minus 5. 0 times r minus 5. And like I said, what all this does is it helps you keep everything lined up. It makes it easier to work with. So now we just divide like we did in the previous problem. What do I need to multiply to r to get r squared? Well, that's r. Now I'm going to multiply r times r plus 4. So r times r is r squared. R times 4 is plus 4r. And then I subtract. So to subtract, I change the sign of each term and I add. So here I have r squared minus r squared is 0. 0 minus 0r minus 4r is minus 4r. And then I bring down my next term. Now, what do I need to multiply to r to get negative 4r? Well, that's minus 4. So minus 4 times r plus 4, that's minus 4 times r is minus 4r. Minus 4 times 4 is negative 16. And then I subtract. And to subtract, we change the sign of each term and we add. So I have negative 5 plus 16 is 11. So here's my answer. I have r minus 4, and then the 11 is my remainder. Alright, let's take a look at one more. Now notice here my exponents are correct. I have a 4, 3, 2, 1, because if it does have an exponent it's understood to be 1, and then my constant term. Here the x squared minus 1, I'm missing an x, so I'm going to do just like I did in this problem and add it in. So I have x squared minus, x squared plus, and then 0 times x minus 1. And that's going to be divided into 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed minus x squared plus 6x plus 5. So now I do the same thing. What do I need to multiply to x squared to get 2x to the fourth? Well, that's 2x squared. So now I multiply 2x squared times this. So, times x squared plus 0x minus 1. So I have 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the fourth. 2x squared times 0x is 0x cubed. And then 2x squared times minus 1 is minus 2x squared. And I subtract. So to subtract, we change the sign of each term and add. So I get 2x to the fourth minus plus negative 2x to the fourth is 0. 3x cubed plus minus 0 is 3x cubed, and then minus x squared plus 2x squared is plus x squared. And then I bring down my next term plus 6x. So now I say, what do I multiply to x squared to get 3x cubed? Well, that's plus 3x. So I multiply 3x times x squared plus 0x minus 1. So 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times 0x is plus 0x squared. And then 3x times minus 1 is minus 3x. And then I subtract. So I change the sign of each term and I add. So I get 0 x squared and plus 9x. And then I bring down the next term plus 5. And then I say, what do I multiply to x squared to get x squared? Well, that's plus 1. So 1 times x squared plus 0x minus 1. 1 times x squared gives me x squared. 1 times 0x is plus 0x. And 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. And then I subtract. So I change the sign of each and I add. So I get 0, here I get 9x, and here I get plus 6. So here's my answer, 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 with a remainder of 9x plus 6. I hope this video helped. Thank you.